going on? I got a little different video for you today. I want to start making some just videos on my thoughts. Let you inside this head of mine a little bit. So I was listening to a podcast by Joey Szatmary. He's like a strongman dude, weightlifter. He's getting into bodylifting now. He is massive machine. He's got some great content out there on fitness, but he's also got this podcast called Becoming the Lion. And in his latest podcast, it was titled Alpha Maleism. And I'm like, that sounds interesting. So I gave it a listen, and he was like kind of talking about what it means to be an alpha male and how society's kind of made it sound like it's a bad thing, the whole, toxic masculinity, that kind of thing. And also just, some of the negative connotations that society has on being an alpha male. But then he brought up this post from Frogman Tactical on Instagram, and this dude is solid. And he's talking about what it means to be a real alpha male. So I'm going to read this to you. A real alpha male has so many more qualities. He is a giver, a lover of people, a protector emotionally and physically to all. His first resolution is not violence but peace. If violence is forced, he will do what he must. I can't read. If violence is forced, he will do what must be done and stop at nothing to protect whoever is in danger. An alpha male is a selfless man who will sacrifice his every being for another member. His entire existence is the survival of the pack. He will give everything he has to another pack member. He is an educator and a counselor to others. He is a man that will fight until his last breath for even the weakest of men. He is a man who brings others up in morale and doesn't tear them down. He is a man who stands beside his pack members, not in front or behind, because he knows as an alpha male he must have the support and trust of the pack to maintain his position. The most important attribute of an alpha male is that he is a humble man who will step aside and he cannot lead the pack better than another. The pack's survival is more important than his own pride. He serves a greater purpose than himself. I think that's awesome. I think it is 100% spot on. One thing Joey was saying though is this is like new age alpha maleism. So like old age is like just you're strong, you force your way, you do whatever you gotta do to get your own. But this new age is like being more humble, be a protector, put others before yourself, that kind of thing. And I'm cool with that. If you want to call it new age, that's cool. If you want to call it new age so people emulate what's new and upcoming, that's cool. But I would argue that this is not so new. I would argue that this sounds a lot like the OG alpha male. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. So Jesus was a strong dude. He was a carpenter. So I know I was a carpenter. Us carpenters are pretty strong. He's also a very humble dude. Maybe that's not me. But humble guy, he was a counselor to all. He put others before himself, and he was a protector. There's one story where there was this woman caught in adultery, and there was a whole crowd getting ready to stone her. And he, steps out in front of the crowd and says, "Hey, if any of you is without sin, you throw the first stone." And then he went down and started drawing in the sand, which is kind of weird. But and then after a few minutes, he looked up and he asked the woman, he's like, where'd they all go? Is there anybody here that's gonna persecute you? And the crowd had left. And he said, "Go and sin no more." And what's interesting about that story is, Jesus' disciples, some of them got stoned to death, and they were tradesmen. They weren't just pansy pencil pushers, so they could have very well stoned Jesus at that point too. I mean, they outnumbered him, but he still put himself out there in front of them and, stood up to the crowd against this woman. So there's that. He sacrificed himself so we could, you know, have a relationship with God. And even when he's down on the cross, there was a robber there right next to him, and that robber acknowledged that Jesus was the Messiah, and Jesus like, yeah, you're gonna be with me in heaven today. And so even the weakest of men, he stood up for. So I think, yeah, this Frogman Tactical nailed it on what a real alpha male is. But I would argue that the OG alpha male is Jesus. So yeah. Anyway, let me know if you like this style of video. I've got lots of ideas I kind of want to talk about. So I think I'm gonna do more of these. I'm thinking about doing some more, like, you know, on health and fitness, and then just being a man, that kind of stuff. Because got some thoughts. Maybe they're not good, maybe they are, but I want to get them out there. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.